Hold on to your seats, because what we're about to reveal will make your jaw drop in. We're not even exaggerating. We've heard the rumors, seen the headlines, and watched the endless debates. But now, it's time for the truth. Lil Tim, the name that's been linked to King Von's tragic night, has finally opened up well, sort of. And get this, King Von's own sister has just dropped a bombshell confession that changes everything. Did she know? Was she in the loop all along? And if so, why didn't she speak up sooner? What if the truth about that fateful night is far darker than we ever imagined? This isn't just another he said. She said this is a scandal that could shake the very foundation of everything we thought we knew. Imagine this, the sister of a slain rapper whose every word carries weight in the streets, now claiming that she knew exactly what happened that night. Not only that, but she's telling us she knew about the second shooter. Yeah, you heard me right, a second shooter. So, where does that leave us? With more questions than answers, and a web of conspiracy, betrayal, and secrets that'll make you question everything. Stick around, because we're diving headfirst into this bombshell of a confession, and trust us, you don't want to miss a second of this. What really went down that night? Is the truth more terrifying than we ever thought? Let's break it down. It's the kind of scandal that hits like a punch to the gut, and when it comes to the world of hip-hop, there's no shortage of jaw-dropping moments. But this one, it's different. This one has layers, twists, and a story so twisted it could rival any blockbuster crime thriller. We're talking about Lil Tim's confession, and not just any confession, but one that could turn everything we thought we knew about King Von's death upside down. Let's rewind. If you've been living under a rock, or just haven't been paying attention to the ongoing saga that is the world of hip-hop drama, then you've missed out on one of the most head-spinning feuds in recent memory. King Von, one of the most promising rappers in the game, tragically lost his life in 2020, but the circumstances surrounding his death have been shrouded in mystery from the very beginning. Was it a beef gone wrong? Was it self-defense? More to the story than we've been told. For months, the streets were buzzing with rumors, whispers of a second shooter, conspiracy theories, and suspicions that went far deeper than just a street altercation. But there was one person who stayed eerily silent through it, all King Von's sister, and now, she's ready to break her silence. But not in the way you might think. No, her confession isn't just about her brother's untimely death. It's about the secrets she's been holding, secrets about who really knew what and when they knew it. What's even crazier, she's claiming that she knew everything. Everything. From the very first shot fired that night to the dark truth she's been hiding. And here's where it gets wild. She says she knew about the second shooter, the one that no one ever spoke of, the one that wasn't in the headlines, the one that didn't make the news, the one who's been living in the shadows. Until now, we're talking about someone who could have changed the entire narrative. Someone who could have stopped the spiral into violence that ultimately led to King Von's tragic demise. So, why wait this long? Why speak up now? The answer, according to insiders, lies in the murky world of street politics, the kind of game where loyalty isn't just a virtue. It's the currency that keeps everything in motion. And now, the sister who's been in the background of this entire saga, stepping forward with information that could change the way we view every single event surrounding her brother's death. What's going on here? Why did she wait until now to speak? Did she really know everything? Or is this some sort of twisted move to protect someone else? And more importantly, what does this confession mean for Lil Tim, the man who's been at the center of so much of the controversy? It's a massive game of chess, and all the pieces are moving. The question is, who's going to end up on top? And, more crucially, who's going to pay the price? But before we get into the mind-blowing details, let's take a step back and look at the key players in this tangled mess. Lil Tim, the name that's been tossed around in connection with King Von's shooting, is no stranger to controversy. But what makes his involvement so chilling is the way his name keeps popping up in situations that just don't seem to add up. Now, King Von's sister, she's been a silent force in the background all this time, but according to the sources we've gathered, she's seen and heard more than anyone realized, and she's been keeping track. She's the one who's had a front row seat to the games being played, the alliances formed in dark corners, and the bitter truths that no one else wanted to admit. She's seen the power plays, the backstabbing, and the manipulation happening behind closed doors. And now, she's ready to talk. The big question is, what does she really know? And why should we believe her now? The answers are coming, but before they do, let's take a look at how we got here in the first place. Remember, the timeline. King Von, a name that stirred the pot in the rap scene, was tragically killed during a shooting in Atlanta. It was chaos from the moment the bullets rang out. The police reports, the eyewitness testimonies, and the social media posts all painted a picture of an altercation gone wrong. But something didn't add up. There were too many questions that no one seemed ready to answer. Then, enter Lil Tim. He's a controversial figure, to say the least, with ties to King Von's opposition. The details of the shooting, especially the second shooter, became murky almost immediately. Everyone involved had their own version of events, and the streets were left buzzing with speculation. But despite the cloud of confusion, there were some constants in the narrative. Lil Tim's name kept coming up. But now, we've got something else. Something far bigger than what anyone expected. King Von's sister, the one person who could have answered all of this sooner, is speaking out. And she's not just talking about her brother's death. She's exposing a web of lies, a web of deception, and a betrayal that goes far beyond the streets. The real question is, why now? Why reveal all of this at a time when everyone's looking for answers? Before we dive deeper into her confession, let's break down the core of the scandal, the second shooter. It's a detail that everyone's been avoiding, but why? What's the truth behind this second shooter? And what role does Lil Tim play in all of this? The second shooter, that's where things really start to get interesting. It's the one detail that has remained elusive. The thing everyone's whispered about but no one's really talked about. It's almost as if someone has been working overtime to keep this secret buried deep in the shadows, where no one can reach it. But here's the thing, nothing stays hidden forever. According to King Von's sister, there was a second shooter that night, a figure who's been conveniently left out of the mainstream narrative. Why? Well, that's a question worth asking, isn't it? The night Von was killed was chaos, everyone knows that. Multiple eyewitness accounts, multiple gunshots, and yet somehow, the focus always ended up on Lil Tim, the one person who seemed to get the most blame. But what if it wasn't just him? What if the story we've all been told, the official story, is incomplete? King Von's sister seems to think so, and she's not holding back anymore. In fact, she's telling us that the second shooter wasn't some random bystander or accidental figure. No, this was someone involved, someone who played a crucial role in what went down that night. We don't have all the facts, but we have some clues. Sources close to Von's sister claim she's been sitting on this knowledge for months, possibly even years, but now finally she's ready to speak. According to her, the second shooter wasn't some faceless figure who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. No, this shooter was someone who had a purpose, someone who was actively involved in the situation, and that's where things get murky. What if the second shooter wasn't a random person at all? What if they were tied to Von's inner circle, or at least, someone who knew more than they let on? What if the shooting that night wasn't just a spontaneous burst of violence, but part of a larger scheme, a conspiracy to eliminate Von from the equation entirely? That's a question that no one has been willing to ask until now. The more we dig, the more the picture starts to emerge, and trust me, it's not a pretty one. Lil Tim may have pulled the trigger, but could he have been working with someone else, someone who's been lurking in the background, pulling strings and setting things into motion? The fact that King Von's sister is bringing this up now when the heat is on, when the spotlight is brighter than ever, suggests that she's not just throwing out random claims. No, she's got something to back this up. So why the silence? Well, that's the question we've all been asking. Why did she wait until now to reveal such a huge part of the puzzle? Was she protecting someone? Or is she just tired of living in the shadows, waiting for the truth to come to light? We'll never know for sure, but one thing is clear. This revelation could change everything. If Von's sister is right, then we've all been looking at this situation from the wrong angle, and what we thought we knew about that night was just the beginning. Now, let's talk about the public reaction. You can imagine the kind of storm this confession has stirred up. The streets are buzzing, the fans are wild, and everyone who's had a hand in keeping this story under wraps is nervous. Why? Because the second shooter isn't just a random detail, it's the one thing that could tear apart the carefully crafted narrative around King Von's death. But let's take a step back and look at some leaked reports. You know, the kind of documents that mysteriously make their way into the hands of people who really want the truth to come out. One source close to the investigation, let's call them anonymous insider, claims that the second shooter was connected to a powerful figure in the hip-hop community. Now, hold on before you start getting ideas. This isn't some random wannabe. We're talking about someone who has connections, someone who could have easily orchestrated the chaos that unfolded that night. This isn't just about a random person being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Oh no, this was a carefully executed plan, with every move being calculated. The second shooter wasn't a mere casualty in the mix. They were part of a larger agenda, and now that King Von's sister is spilling the tea, it's all starting to make sense. Was it about power, money, or was it a battle over control of something far bigger than we'll ever understand? And then there's the role of Lil Tim. According to the same source, while Lil Tim may have pulled the trigger, he wasn't the mastermind behind it all. What if he was just a pawn, an expendable piece in a game where the stakes were higher than anyone realized? Was he forced into this? Was he set up as the fall guy? What we don't know could be even more explosive than what we already do. Now, we come to the fallout. Oh, you thought the drama was over? Think again. This is just the beginning of the mess that's about to spiral completely out of control. With King Von's sister now coming forward with her shocking revelations, the entire game has changed. What was once a tragic shooting has now turned into a full-fledged conspiracy, and the consequences are about to be felt by everyone involved. First, let's talk about the legal fallout. You better believe there's going to be massive investigations into what actually happened that night. Forget the simple narrative of a street altercation gone wrong. We're talking about criminal investigations that could lead to charges, potential trials, and some seriously ugly public scrutiny. The authorities will have to re-examine everything: the witnesses, the police reports, the leaked documents, and the accusations now coming from Von's sister. The moment the second shooter becomes a known factor, the case isn't just about one person. It's about everyone who's been involved. Lil Tim, you think he's sweating now? If this second shooter theory holds up, the entire case against him could unravel. What if he wasn't the one who made the call? What if he's been playing his part in a game that's far more complicated than anyone imagined? The truth is that with every new detail that comes to light, Lil Tim's story starts to look more and more like a setup. Was he just a scapegoat for something much bigger? Was he manipulated? Or was he in on it the entire time? The possibilities are endless, and they're getting more dangerous by the minute. And then there's the public reaction. This is where things really get heated. The streets are already divided, but now, it's about to get real ugly. People are taking sides. Some are saying that King Von's sister is just trying to capitalize on the tragedy, while others believe that she's finally revealing the truth. Either way, you can bet that social media is blowing up with conspiracy theories, arguments, and viral reactions. Fans of King Von, Lil, Tim, and everyone else involved are starting to pick apart every word that's been said, every gesture, every inconvenient detail. The streets are the loudest. As always, people are wondering if King Von's sister is really telling the truth, or if she's just stirring the pot to keep her brother's name alive. Some believe her after all. She was there, and she knows things that the public doesn't. Others are skeptical. They think it's all about trying to ride the coattails of her brother's fame, using his name as a cash cow. But here's the thing: if this second shooter theory is true, it changes everything. The public backlash is going to hit hard, especially for anyone who was involved in covering up the truth. Could there be financial consequences? You bet. There's a chance that those connected to the night of King Von's death might see their finances take a massive hit, especially if they're implicated in any kind of conspiracy or cover-up. Public perception is a powerful thing in the world of hip-hop, and being tied to a scandal like this could mean serious financial ruin for anyone who's found guilty. But let's take this even further. There are rumors swirling that the authorities might be looking into things more closely. If it turns out that there was some kind of collusion or hidden agenda behind the shooting, there could be some serious investigations from law enforcement. We're talking about the possibility of federal probes, the kind that can dig deep into the business dealings, street politics, and connections that run through this entire story. It's a tangled web, and the longer this goes on, the harder it's going to be for anyone to keep their hands clean. And let's not forget about the hip-hop community itself. This isn't just a local problem. This is a situation that has the potential to rock the industry to its core. With high-profile figures like Lil Tim, King Von, and Von's sister at the center of it all, everyone from labels to artists to producers is going to be caught in the crossfire. The moment the truth about the second shooter gets out, the entire narrative surrounding Von's death will change. Fans will demand answers. Industry professionals will distance themselves from anyone who's been linked to the scandal. And when the truth eventually comes out, whether it's next week or next year, it's going to be a public relations nightmare for anyone caught in the fallout. So what does all of this mean for Lil Tim? If he was involved in a larger conspiracy, it's not just his reputation on the line, and he merits his freedom. The criminal repercussions of this confession could be far-reaching, and don't think for a second that the authorities won't be looking into Lil Tim's connections, his movements, and his interactions with those closest to him. If he was involved in a cover-up or a conspiracy, it's only a matter of time before the truth comes to light. And when it does, he's not the only one who will pay the price. And finally, we come to King Von's legacy. With all of this chaos, where does his memory stand? Will this confession help clear his name, or will it drag his reputation through the mud, as more and more secrets are revealed? The streets will remember Von, but with every new scandal, his story becomes more complicated. The truth is, the legacy of King Von isn't just about the music. It's about the mysteries, the conspiracies, and the people who've battled to control his narrative. And now, the truth is out there waiting to be uncovered. The only question left is, who's going to be the one to pay the price for it all? So, now that you've heard the shocking truth, what's your take on it? Was King Von's sister really holding on to secrets that could unravel everything we thought we knew? Is Lil Tim just a pawn in a much bigger game? And what about this mysterious second shooter? Could it be the key to unlocking the entire story? We want to hear your thoughts. Do you think this confession changes the narrative, or is it just another twist in the ongoing drama? Drop your comments below and let us know what you believe happened that night. If you found this bombshell as mind-blowing as we did, don't forget to like this video, share it with everyone who needs to know, and of course, subscribe to stay updated on the latest breaking stories. You won't want to miss what we have coming next because trust me, the truth is just getting started, and we're bringing it all to you, one jaw-dropping revelation at a time. So, are you ready for more? Hit that bell icon so you're the first to know when the next shocking piece of this puzzle drops.